So before we get into the review, let me just say one thing. Boba who? Greetings, welcome to Mexico City, or CDMX if you want to get down with the kids. Now in this video I'm going to review the Mandalorian episodes 1 and 2. And I know if you saw my last video, this is a massive contradiction because I said I wouldn't even watch the Mandalorian, but thanks to a friend, I accidentally saw it, both episodes so far. Okay, so no questions and no disintegration. As you wish. Okay, so this isn't like a full breakdown by any means, but there will be spoilers ahead. So obviously, it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you haven't, do you mind? Very rude. If you haven't seen The Mandalorian, then stop watching now, go on, destroy my algorithm. So the opening scene is in a bar on an ice planet. This was released as a clip by Star Wars, I think, in advance. And we're introduced to the Mandalorian on his first bounty mission. And also to what is perhaps so far my favorite thing, one of my favorite things anyway about this series, and that's the music composed by Ludwig Göransson. Now I'm not particularly down on my instruments, but there's like Western style windpipes playing as the Mando enters the bar. There's a very Clint Eastwood kind of vibe to it. And now I want Western style windpipes to play whenever I enter a bar. And I believe they will, in my mind at least. So staying on the ice planet, there's like that long snoot guy from A New Hope, you know, the spy on Mos Eisley. A member of the Kubaz species, according to Wikipedia. Thank you very much. And he's like summoning uber speeders via a flute, which is really weird. And then Brian Posehn turns up as a driver. And this is after he's rejected one driven by a droid. So we learn early on that he doesn't really like droids, or the droid had a bad driver rating or something. But this is kind of, assuming anyway that it's the former, this is kind of reminiscent of Ripley's suspicion of androids in Alien. There were so many Easter eggs in episode 1. I'm talking like Porkins level of Easter eggs here, but it never really felt irritating, the level of fan service that was there. So I'm going to mention the music again because for me it really was a highlight. It doesn't always feel instantly like Star Wars, but I think eventually it will. It will just take some getting used to. But essentially it's not John Williams, and also it's not trying to be, and I think that's a really positive thing. I heard some complaints about pacing, but for me there was no problem there. The only problem in terms of, I guess, the pace was the actual duration of the episode. Try not to get one over here. Was the duration of the episode, 36 minutes long. That's pretty short and kind of disappointing, which is actually a compliment at the same time, I guess, because I wanted it to be longer. But then this is a pilot episode, so I suppose future episodes will be longer, yeah? Overall, I thought episode 1 was a good scene setter, a solid opener, and it really did set the scene of the mood of the galaxy, the post-Empire galaxy. It was also a great introduction to this character who's menacingly efficient at his job, but obviously does have a human side to him as well. From allowing the first bounty to use the back tube, to convincing IG-11 not to self-detonate. And then, of course, that final moment. On to episode 2. I love that there's a previously on The Mandalorian slate that comes up now. It feels like an actual TV series, you know, an actual grown-up TV series. I'm easily pleased. But I have to say, I wish they would put up a title so we know which planet they're on, because I don't have a clue, to be honest. Do you? Let me know in the comments if you know which planets are featured. I mean, they're all new planets, right? And also it dawned on me that there's barely any speech. 10 minutes into episode 2, I realised we've heard like a handful of words possibly. And that didn't really bother me. It actually says a lot about Pedro Pascal's performance. It's silent, but physically expressive at the same time. There's some great action in this episode, whether it be the boss-type aliens ambushing the Mandalorian, or chasing down a sandcrawler after the Jawas ambushed his ship. There's a lot of ambushing going on. Oh, and after 13 minutes, we finally got a... But back to the action, there was also the rhino fight as well, where Mando gets all muddy and looks like he's come home from a weekend at Glastonbury. I was surprised that Disney were like, yeah, of course, he can go into a cave that looks like a giant butthole. No problem. And that egg looks like a Wookiee coconut. Jawa Easters must be crazy. And this is where we get confirmation that Baby Yoda is Force sensitive. I mean, we knew it to be true, right? But the Mandalorian himself, this was quite interesting. didn't know what was going on. He wasn't aware of what the Force was. Maybe he's heard of it, but hasn't ever seen it in practice. Because I would have thought that like Luke Skywalker would be like the talk of the galaxy at this point. So when episode 2 ended, I was like, wow, I loved it so much. It only felt like it was 30 minutes long. But then I realized it was only 30 minutes long, even shorter than episode 1. What's this all about, Disney? And this, again, is a positive criticism because I want more. More Mando, baby. So far, so good for The Mandalorian and this new breed of live action Star Wars format, if you like. It feels like it's been touched by George Lucas. It feels very Star Wars. Star Wars was always meant to be a cowboy film in space, and this very much, whether it be with the music, the cinematography, some of the planets, feels like a Western. There's some strong Man with No Name vibes going on. I'm looking forward to getting more of the Mandalorian's backstory. I'm presuming we will after those flashbacks in episode 1. And where's this baby Yoda story heading at? And will we finally get the big reveal of the Yoda species name? And is it the last we've seen of Nick Nolte's Ugnaught character? And IG-11 as well. I've got a feeling he's going to come back and robo-bite the Mandalorian at some point. So that's my review. Let me know in the comments what you think of The Mandalorian so far. And like this video, poke this video, take a look around if you're new to the channel. There's lots of pop culture content, Star Wars content, interviews, podcasts, even a documentary called The Empire Strikes Door. And a shout out for Jimena, who I met in Mexico whilst filming this video. If you're a speaker of the Spanish, go and check out her channel. But for now, I have spoken.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Jamie Stangram told me to do this because he's a ridiculous human being, which I've discovered in a matter of a few minutes.